Hi guys, and welcome to episode 4 of the Little Bee Knitting, Spinning and Crochet podcast. Blah 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 blah. Hello and welcome to episode 3. No! Hi everyone, it's me, Kirsty. Welcome to episode 4 of the Little Bee Knitting, Spinning and Crochet podcast. I am your host, your fantastic, fabulous, most awesome and favourite Scottish lassie. I'm kidding, I really am. But no, welcome to episode 4. It has been 2 weeks since I last uploaded anything, and to be fair, it's been the longest 2 weeks ever. Like, I know it was my choice to move to every 2 weeks, but last weekend I was kind of like, oh, I should be recording, and then I was like, no. So it's been a long 2 weeks, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. I'm going to start this episode off with my photos. Now, there's not that many. One you did see 2 weeks ago, but it's now been blocked. So we're going to start that off with the Ishbell that I was making. If you want to know like what wool it was and stuff like that, just jump back an episode or two and there's more details in there. So here's the Ishbell, all blocked and lovely, but the ends are not sewn in. I'm not that good. This literally came off the blocking pad like 2 nights ago, and I've just been non-stop ever since. So this is how I wear my shawls. I don't wear them around my back like some people do. And now that I have blocked it, I've realised that the bind off really should have been purl, because it's curling up. I have to make it sit proper, or like footer around with it to get it to sit proper. So yeah, I'll make another one at some point, and I'll do the proper cast off that the pattern asks for, instead of apparently making it up as I go along. So that is my first faux, and second one's also one I talked about in the last podcast, and this little guy was in middle of construction, shall we say, and did not look like anything at the point, but now here he is. Here's the guy. Now, someone commented on my LittleBeeAccessories Facebook page and said it looks like Gunther out of... oh, what's that programme? Adventure Time. I knew I'd get there. So it looks like Gunther out of Adventure Time, and do you know what? She's so right, and it took me a long time to see it, but now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. So, Gunther everyone! But this wee guy's actually off to one of my friends who bought him, very kindly. She knew I was in a wee bit of a strap for cash, but I'll get into that a wee bit later on as well. So this wee guy was talked about in the last podcast, but I decided not to show him because at this point he had his eyes, but that was it. Like, he had nothing else. He didn't have his arms, he didn't have his belly, he didn't have his nose, so he just kind of he looked like that but with eyes on him. So I decided that there's no point showing you guys because he doesn't look like anything. And then I got this wee cutie finished as well. So that's his face. Little cute guy, and then that's his tiny little body. So yeah, he's looking quite high up. I should have sewn his head further down, because if you do that, it just falls over like that. Whereas if you sit it up like that, he stands up proper. And he's got a wee curly tail, tiny little body, little legs, and a cute little face. So that really technically is my only completed faux. I have a half faux, does that count? I got a sock done. Now, for anyone that's seen my previous episodes, they'll know that this was actually one of my knitting resolutions for this year, and I bought a sock blocker and stuff to motivate me to actually do some socks, and I done one, and I am hoping not to suffer from second sock syndrome, which everyone in my work just laughs at me for. They think this is a pure made up thing, and then they're like, yeah, you're not part of the knitting community, you're not one of us, you don't really get these like these sayings and stuff. So second sock syndrome, you all know it's a real thing, and I may or may not suffer from it. At the moment I am itching to cast on the next one, but I'm also itching to do like 5 to 10 other things, and you'll see why when I show you acquisitions. So yeah, one sock. See if you can zoom in on the colour. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I have no idea what the wool is. I have no idea if it is superwash. I have no idea if there's nylon in it. I have not got a Scooby. All I know is this is wool I got from Sterling, in McCrae's wool shop in Sterling. So, it's a bit of a mystery. It's just pretty. It has got nice stripes all the way up. It did get a bit of pulling. Let's take off the sub blocker. I got a little bit of pulling when I was turning the heel. So you can see it kind of like here. Yeah, here. And then done the same thing like on the other side. Here. But that's fine, like it does not bother me at all. These are going to be in my shoes. If not, they're going to be house socks. I think they're pretty. I like how they've come out. I'm really proud that I actually stuck at it and got it finished, and I just hope I don't suffer from second sock syndrome, that's all I can say. So half a full until the next one, but I got this done in 2 weeks, so if I cast on tonight I should have the second one finished for the next podcast. I am hopeful, but I am not holding my breath because there is like so many things I want to cast on. I do have a whip, but I left it in my bag. I also have needle adjacent stuff which I've left on my unit. And by the way, see if you can see behind me, it's an absolute tip. I am so sorry that you've got to see that. We'll get into it a little bit later on. So my whip is another Triceratops and that's another reason I'm not actually showing it. It's an order for somebody and it's not quite completed. I'll get it finished for probably tonight if not tomorrow. But because it is an order I'm not going to be showing it off because I just think that's unfair. They need to see it first instead of everyone that hasn't ordered it. Does that make sense? So I really technically have no whips, which is odd for me, but I do have lots of stash, so we'll get into that one. So first lot of stash acquisitions is my second nitpick order. Now I kind of let slip that I placed a second order with nitpicks. I was going to leave it as just the first order and then that was it, because it's a lot of hassle ordering from America, but it's so worth it. So my second lot of nitpick stuff arrived and oh my gosh, it's so soft, it's so squishy, and I'm not sure what I'm going to make with it. So this is the first one, and it is, let me just read this, it is Stroll Fingering in the Northern Lights hand painted dial, or dial-lot, whatever you want to call it, and it's just absolutely, let it focus. It's just really gorgeous colours. It's totally some of my colours. I have a huge kind of colour base that I work on every day, and this is just happens to be one of them. And it's just so soft, unbelievably soft. It's, let me see what it's made up of. 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, and in a 100-gram skein you get 462 yards. I'm not sure that is in meters, which is what I normally work in, but hey ho. And then we've got more Stroll, and it's this one, which is just absolutely stunning. I love all of these colours together, and this is in their big top, which, does that just not scream circus to you? Like really, that just screams circus. And it's fantastic. It's the same one, it's the Stroll Fingering, so again it's 75% superwash, 25% nylon. And again, no idea what I'm going to make with it. I do not pick my wool knowing what I'm going to make unless it is an order. So if someone says make me this and make it in this colour, excuse me, then I have a rough idea what sorry, I have a rough idea of what wool I'm going to get. And a perfect example of that is this wool is part of the Triceratops order, and I don't know if this is going to come up really well. This is actually a lemon colour, and which is exactly what's on the ball band, is lemon as their colourway. So it's a very, very pale, subtle yellow, and it's gorgeous. And basically the reason I got this, because this is not one of my colours, I would never normally buy something like that. One of the reasons I got that colour was because someone wanted a green and yellow Triceratops. So I went ahead and got the green, and I got the yellow at the exact same time. And again, part of my stash acquisition for this week. But yeah, like that's the only time I really ever buy with a project in mind. Otherwise it's just, oh that's pretty, I have to have it. So to really go into more detail about this lemon, it is by the Women's Institute, which I am pretty sure is just a UK company, but don't quote me on that. So it's the Women's Institute Premium Acrylic Yarn. It's 100 grams, it is DK, and it's exclusive to Hobbycraft. That's the only place I've ever seen it, which would make sense because apparently it's exclusive. But it's so soft for acrylic, and it's perfect for my amigurumi. So I got that along with the green, and then just because I really like the colour I ended up getting this. So it's kind of like a speckled purple. It's not a solid purple at all, it is definitely a speckled purple. And it says it's DK, but I'm sure this is somewhere between DK and chunky. And it's by the same company, it's by the Women's Institute. But there's certainly a difference in the thickness of yarn compared to the lemon and the lime that I got. How ironic, lemon and lime. And I don't have the green on me to show, it's still in my bag. But once this camera cuts to the 20-minute section, I will dash and get it and come back and show. Because it will do that. It's got this horrible setting where it only records for 20 minutes and then cuts off. But I've not figured out a way to work around that, and I haven't worked a way to prop up my phone to record on my phone. So you're just going to have to put up with it. Sorry. So going back to my knit picks order, because I totally just jumped all over the place there. This is the next one, which is called the Make Believe, and oh, it's just stunning. It makes me think of like fairy tales, and it's all my favourite colours shoved into one yarn, and it's so pretty. It's like lime green, sky blue, gorgeous purple, darker purple, teal, darker green. It just thinks fairies and forest. That's what I think of, which is the whole fitting thing for Make Believe. So again, this is the Stroll Fingering, so it's again 75% to 25. So all together, like if you put those, I'm just knocking things over. So if you put these together, they look great together. And I'm pretty sure you could put them together as like one project. But I like them separate, and I could see them being socks, I could see them being a shawl, I could see them being a sock weight hat. I can also just see me throwing them on my bed and just lying on them, smothering myself in squish. That sounds so much better than socks and wool, and socks and hats, or shawls. And my last one from Knit Picks is totally because of the wool I showed you that my mum had. I had to get something very similar, but it's not really close to what she had. It's called Springtime, and again it's the Stroll Fingering weight, so it's the same makeup, but it is this gorgeous, 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 I want to say lime green, spring green, which would make sense because it is called springtime. but it's just stunning. It is this lovely mix of shades of like a lily, nope, a lemony yellow is the exact same thing. I don't know what's wrong with me today, I'm really tired. So it's a mix of this kind of yellowy green, pale green, almost white in places, and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. It's the minute I seen it I had to get it because it does remind me of the wool that my mum used for her shawl, which is finished and blocked, and again once the 20-minute segment kicks in I will dash off and get it. Not the most see, considering I've had 2 weeks to prepare for this, I am so unprepared. I literally wrote my show notes down before I started recording, and I've left some of my needle adjacent stuff behind me. My green wool, my Triceratops is in my bag. My mum's shawl is somewhere. So yeah, 2 weeks to prepare, and I prepare within 5 minutes. Awesome. So, I took last Monday off of work. I needed time to kind of recuperate, get my head back together, and I ended up having a bit of a family day on the Monday. We went to what's called the Fort shopping centre in Glasgow, or just kind of outside of Glasgow depending on how you look at it, and they have a hobby craft shop, my favourite shop. And basically what happened was my sister really wanted to go get some stuff for her planning. She's got this huge big obsession with like planners and stuff. Hi Hayley. And that obviously meant that my mum and I had to go into and look at the wool. So she got a whole bunch of like baby stuff for making baby jumpers, jackets, you name it. I, on the other hand, got the lemon and the lime that were both for the Triceratops. What colour is this? It just says mixed, but yeah, it's like mixed kind of purple. And then I got 6 balls of Regia, 2 of each colour, might I add, just because I do have horrifically big feet for a girl, so I don't bother. Like, I have to get more wool for socks. So I got, don't make me pronounce these, I'm just going to show the ball band. I got 2 of these, which is in this gorgeous colour. I wonder if my camera's going to focus. There we go. It's an absolutely stunning colour. Very pastel-y, very subtle colours. Some of my favourite colours again, like the teal, the blue, the purple. The pink's nice. Not the biggest pink girl in the world, but I like it. It's 4-ply, it's sock wool, 75% virgin wool, 25% polyamide. So great for socks. Can be a bit scratchy, not gonna lie, a bit scratchy. But I'm sure after they're blocked and they're in some fabric softener, they'll be lovely on the feet. Absolutely stunning. So that's 2 of the 6. So again, like you can see the kind of long-standing pattern here. I get 2 balls of each, so technically I only got 3, and that's the story I'm sticking with. But so this is the next one. Whoops, there we go. More Regia. And this absolutely lovely colour. My camera's not going to focus, is it? I can't tell if that's focused and it's that too far away. There we go. So absolutely stunning colours, the total opposite to what the one before was. That one was very pastel-y colours and this one's very bright and in your face, and this one feels denser than that one. Don't know what that's about. But yeah, again, 2 balls because I have big feet. And lastly, I can't remember which one it was I picked up and put back. I've got a feeling it's this one in my hands, because the colourway is just a bit all over the place, but I can imagine loving these as socks compared to what they are in the ball. And what really kind of swayed me to get them was the fact it was 3 for 2 on all balls of wool, doesn't matter what type it was you got. So I got the 3 Women's Institute, and then I had 4 balls of Regia, and I was just like, well, I get 2 more for the price of nothing. So I was swayed, and I just got them anyway. And again, these are them. And I think you can maybe see what I mean by the colours are just all over the place. There's a bit of everything in here. There's a bit of red, there's a bit of blue, green, orange, yellow, like orange, I said that already. Like, it's just, it's like someone's taken paint and had a pot of each colour and then just gone everywhere. And they've just done it on wool. And normally I love it, and normally I'd be like, oh my god, I've got to have it. But I don't know, when I stood in the shop I was kind of like, do I want it, do I not want it, what do I do? And I ended up just buying it, because as I say, technically I got them for nothing. And that's the story I'm sticking with, folks. It really was 3 for 2. But I didn't have to buy them. But the reality is, I didn't buy them. It's fine. That does not mean I shoplifted, but 3 for 2, technically these were free. So that's all the wool that I've got in the last 2 weeks, which is a ridiculous amount of wool. Now I need to kind of move it off to the side because they are sitting on my show notes that I very quickly wrote up. Like I said, it's been a long week. Been a very, very long week. Yeah, I can't do the needle adjacent stuff because I don't have it beside me. And the minute this cuts into the whole 20-minute segment, I will dash off and get them, along with the shawl and the lime green wool. So I guess it's time to move on just a small section further to double back. And basically the reason I keep saying it's been a really long week is because work has just been mental. There's just so much work, and once you feel like you've made a dent in it, you kind of refresh and you're like, oh, that's not made a dent at all. Because as you do work, more work comes in and so on and so forth. So you feel like you're making headway, and then you come in the next day and you're like, oh, I've made no headway at all. So you feel like your day's been wasted, like you haven't really done much, but you have, if that makes sense. You have done work, but more work came in, which kind of cancels out what you've done. So it just feels like it's never ending, which is always a good thing. It means that there's always a job to be done. But it's also tiring, exhausting. Sometimes it can be very annoying, very frustrating. But such is life. The other reason it's been a really long week is because I went to my first kettlebells class, and if you don't really know what kettlebells is, it's just a really big heavy weight and you kind of throw it around the place and do loads of exercises. And I can't stress this enough, I am not trying to get skinny. I will never be skinny. I'm a big lassie, I'm very curvy, and for the most part I like it. Like, it's the way I am. It's not going to drastically change anytime soon. I'm just trying to get healthier. Because as you know, in last week's, 2 weeks ago, my last episode, I didn't confess, I just opened up to having Crohn's disease, and that condition can hit at any point, and that 20-minute segment thing creeps up on you when you're not paying attention. So yeah, as I was saying, I went to my first kettlebells class on Tuesday night, and it was awesome, don't get me wrong, it really was awesome, but I was sore the next day. It was my back that really got it, because I do work out in the house and I do lift weights. I'm one of these people that think a lassie is allowed to lift weights. There's nothing wrong with it at all. We're not going to bulk up, we're not going to have huge muscles like guys, but it is nice to feel strength in your own body. Like I was saying before it cut out, with my Crohn's and stuff, at my weakest I lost all my muscle. I couldn't open a bottle of juice by myself, I had to get someone else to do it. So I lift weights because it makes me feel better about myself. I like feeling stronger, but I am not trying to get skinny, I am just trying to get healthy. So I went to this kettlebells class with one of the girls I work with, and it was, at one point I thought I was going to throw up. That's how intense this was for me. But on the other hand, I felt fantastic afterwards until the next day, and I did get a sore back, but I must just not have stretched properly. But I was tired from that, and then I'd done a workout a few other nights of the week just in my house. Like, I don't go to the gym or nothing. I think I'm just run down. I can feel the start of a cold that's kind of been kept at bay, but with the cold weather, because we had snow last week, like I think most of the country did. I hate snow. I did not go outside. I refused point blank. I literally got out my jammies, went for a shower, and then got into brand new clean jammies, and then I didn't go out on Saturday at all. Which is kind of why I was like, hey, I could probably record, and then I was like, no, just give it 2 weeks. So with the kettlebells class, my working out and stuff, that all was topped up with my car having to go into the garage, which is never fun. My car has been a bit of a hassle recently. The exhaust fell off, that needed a new bracket, and then the exhaust needed replacing because another garage took the exhaust off. And then my battery died and I had to get that replaced. And now that was my brake discs and my brake pads that just needed replaced there. So my purse strings have taken a huge hit, and you can imagine after buying all that lovely wool and then my car deciding to break on me, I decided to have a proper last minute flash sale on my amigurumi on my LittleBeeAccessories page, and thankfully a few people have bought some things. Doesn't cover the garage costs, but it's enough to help for definite, and I'm very thankful for everyone that bought something from me. So that's what I mean by it's been a long week between work, my workouts and my car. It's just enough for me to want to just put the duvet all over my head and just hide from the world. But I'm not. I'm still facing it head on. I'm still standing. I went out today, had a hot chocolate out of Costa, which I love. I love their hot chocolate. But yeah, it's now the weekend. I can rest and recuperate for 2 full days, and got a bottle of wine chilling in the fridge, 2 bottles of cider if I decide not to have the wine. I probably will not drink 2, I barely drink 1. But a glass of wine or half a bottle of cider is definitely on the cards for tonight. Sorry, my cat's outside. But I decided to dash away when the 20-minute segment kind of kicked in, and I grabbed my mum's shawl. Let me figure out which way is the right way. Look at the colour! It's huge. Like, I actually have to sit back. It is freaking massive. I blocked it for her, and I am very pleased with how it's come out. Like I've said in previous episodes, I'm very, 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 very pernickety when it comes to my blocking, and I did spend a bit of time trying to make sure all the points, because it does, like, it's leaves, it needs to have points. You could not leave that and not put the points in. So I spent a good bit of time making sure that was right and it looked good more than anything. It looked aesthetically pleasing, which I always think is a lovely big word to use and sounds posh. So yeah, that is my mum's shawl that's completed off the needles. She's even worn it out. I think she got a bit of admiration from some of her knitting friends. And I think she's got more of her needles this week than I did in 2 weeks' time. But I've just been so busy, and you can imagine after kettlebells the last thing I wanted to do was sit down and have to do anything. I just wanted to curl up and cry because I was in a bit of pain, but it was worth it. It's definitely worth it. My needle adjacent stash acquisition is to do with my sock knitting. I have this thing about DPNs. It's a love-hate relationship. I hate having to move needles and stuff like that, and I'd rather just knit continuously instead of having to fix my needles, place my yarn in the right areas, and make sure my working yarn doesn't get caught up between all the needles and stuff. Basically, I just think it's a big farce, and that's not me swearing. I swear that is not me swearing. I just think there's a lot of hassle involved with having to use DPNs. And I have not tried the Nico needles yet. I have to admit, I have not tried the Nico needles, which is the curved DPN. So really you're only using 2 compared to 3 needles. And then, well, you have a third for your working, but when you're doing DPNs it's normally 4 needles you're using. But I ended up going out and buying some hehe sharps, and it is their 9-inch fixed circulars. So I got 3. And I got, what size did I get? I got 2.5mm, which is a US 1.5. I got 3mm, which is a US 2.5. And then I got a 275mm, which is a US 2. And I use the 2.75 again, just because I've got big feet. And I got the others in case I decide to make socks for other people, or I do like fingerless mitts and stuff. And I'm loving them. It's a bit of a stretch when you cast on, but see the minute you do your next round and you work up from there, the needle, the stitches just spread out consistently. And let's see, I can take one out. Which one was I in? That one. But the thing is, like, you can imagine they are smaller than what most people are used to. So when you're knitting, I had to tuck one finger under and then hold fingers over, and it was more for comfort than anything else. I have shockingly big hands for a lassie as well, so big hands, big feet, and I don't know, I've got no other needles around me, which is really annoying. I've got pens, let's use that. So see, that was like up to about here was your standard knitting needle. You've got room to hold, so that was up to about there because there's a wee dimple in the pen. So I've got room for all my fingers, whereas with the heyes I have room for like 2 fingers. So you can imagine, like, trying to work with these was quite interesting. I'm not going to say difficult, I'm going to say interesting. And it was literally just trying to get used to where your fingers are going to go, how you're going to hold the needles. But I mean, it worked. Like, I wasn't fooling around with needles, and I could still turn the heel and do the gusset on those. I didn't have to get a separate needle. The only time I had to change down was to DPNs for the toe, because obviously you're getting less and less stitches. But I have decided I need to learn to do 2 at a time, and I need to learn magic loop. I think I have decided that these are musts for socks. And I'm going to go on YouTube, I'm going to check out some tutorials on how to do magic loop, because I've never done it before, and then I'm going to check out some tutorials to do 2 at a time, and I think that's going to be the way forward, to be honest. I love the sharps, do not get me wrong. If I'm feeling more, what's the right word? If I'm not in a rush, and if I'm not in any particular rush to start another project, because I am quite a monogamous knitter, if I'm not really feeling very rushed, I think doing it on my sharps would be fine. The quality of hehe, by the way, I swear, oh my god, they're amazing. At first I was a wee bit shocked at just how sharp they were. It did make my finger kind of split a wee bit, but I'm out of, I don't have that kind of, I won't say callous, but that sounds gross, but I'm out of the habit of having to push on the needle to move my stitches, because when you're crocheting there's just one stitch and it's mostly my right hand that does all the work, whereas when I'm knitting it's my left finger that kind of takes the brunt of the needle. So I love them, I think they're brilliant. They're very compact. I did try the sock on a few times because I work cuff down. I did try the sock on a few times and the stitches did slip off a couple, but it was only about 4 stitches, which is nothing. Very easy to pick up. But these were expensive needles, I had to get them on Amazon Marketplace. There was nowhere else that I could really get them. Within the UK, I didn't check any US sites. I did not see the point. But I think they're brilliant. I'm pretty much converted to hehe. I still like my Knit Pros for my wooden Knit Pros, but hehe is definitely a contender if I get new needles. Sorry, I need to kind of keep moving, my back hurts still. But so that's my needle adjacent, my acquisition, a bit about what's going on with my life, and I'm going to cover this really quickly. As I kind of said when I was talking about my sock, I keep going to say socks, but it's not, it's just sock. I don't know what wool it is, I don't know the brand of wool, I don't know the colourway, I don't know the meterage, so it's going to be interesting to see if I can get that second sock finished. Might have to do one contrasting toe. I have decided to start a yarn journal. I went into town last weekend and picked this up, and it's just stunning, like it's absolutely beautiful. And they label it as a scrapbook album, and I'm just going to go with that because this is literally just going to become a scrapbook. So that's the inside cover, which is just stunning. Look at that, that is just beautiful. And then, not to be vain, but that is the front page, which is my lovely mug. And mug, if you don't really quite get it, is this. This is your mug. It's not a mug that you drink out of. But I've got the start of my first project in there, so I've got a couple of pictures. Stormtrooper! So I got a couple of pictures of the yarn. Once I find out what it is, because I know I've got other yarns. I just have this horrible thing about losing ball bands or chucking them out. I don't know what it is, but no longer. We are going to, I am going to get on top of this. I'm going to put down in here what the yarn is, what the meterage is, what I used for it, what I made from it. I'm going to take pictures, and it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to fill it, and it's just going to be my 2016 yarn journal. I hope I put 2016 on there. I did. I thought I was going to put 2015. But yeah, it's definitely going to be my way forward because, like I say, I want to be able to look back in one place and know what I made that year, what I thought about a pattern, what I thought about a particular wool, so on and so forth. So for example, I know I finished the Ishbell in 2016, but I didn't start it in 2016, but I'm still going to put it in. I'm going to put this in, and I'll probably scan the back of it. So I put a scan copy of the back in, put the front label on, put a sample of the wool in, picture of the finished object, say what I liked about the wool. Now unfortunately Innes, who made that wool, is no longer dyeing yarns, but like it's still nice to put my thoughts and stuff down, like what I thought of the yarn, so on and so forth, like I've just said, and have it in one place, so that if I ever have to kind of go, right, what yarn do I have, what colours have I used up, what did I think of, say, the Maple Leaf Shawl pattern, like what did I think of that. It's all going to be in one place, and I can collect these over years or however long I plan to do it. So far it's lasted like 1 week. But it's another project, it's another crafty project which really interests me, and I can do whatever I want. I can make it kind of scrapbooky, I can make it really quite systematic, put all the proper figures in, and I don't know, like, we'll see what direction it takes. I got a whole bunch of stuff to kind of put in it. I've got like wee tags to like leave notes on, and I've got like sticky labels and stuff to go inside it, and then I got this really stunning book of sticky labels, and it's just going to be interesting to see how it turns out. Keep creative and stuff like that, and like I say, keep everything in the one place, which is the main point. But yeah, so that's going to be an ongoing project. It's going to be a long ongoing project. It's going to be a year-long project, but it's going to be so worth it. But Sorry, I'm just looking at my show notes and looking out the window and everywhere else. I'm going to move on to podcasts that I've been watching, and I've not been watching as many in the last 2 weeks, and it's just because I've been out. I was up to my friend's new house, I was at kettlebells, I was doing my workouts, I've just been tired from work, but I have been catching up on quite a few because a lot of them have been going to, or have gone to Vogue Knitting Live in New York, which I'm so jealous about, so jealous. But I do have 2 events coming up which I'm going to talk about. So first one is Jenny, Devon, and of course the beautiful co-host that is Colin, and that is for Tiny Paper Foxes. They are based in, I won't say New York, but I think I'm going to go for Manhattan. This really tests my, I know it's the same thing, like I do realise it's the same thing, but they're kind of like, if someone says I'm from Glasgow, I'm not, I'm from Greenock, so it's like the same thing, it's just easier to say Glasgow. They went to Vogue Knitting Live and I'm just so jealous, and I love their podcast in general. They're both so calming. Both of them are very calming to listen to, and Colin is just gorgeous. I doubt you'll see my cats on the podcast. You might see pictures of them. You will see pictures of them if you go on my Instagram. But so yeah, check out Jenny and Devon and their sometimes co-host Colin of Tiny Paper Foxes. Another one I've been watching, and I really only have watched this in the last 2 weeks, and I'm all caught up in all his episodes, is Eric of Sticks and Twine. He's Canadian. I love Canadians. I think they're awesome. Who also went to Vogue Knitting Live, which I'm so jealous about. Like, I need to go to Vogue Knitting Live, I need to go to New York in general, and I like the fact that Eric is pushing knitting for guys. Like, that's really awesome, because there's so many patterns out there for women, and like even I don't really knit baby stuff, it's more my mum that does it, but there's so many like knitting patterns for girls. There's no knitting patterns for little boys. Well, there are, but there's just not as many. So it's the same when it comes to men. There's a lot of knitting patterns for women, and women's accessories, women's jumpers. There's even patterns to make a knitted skirt. Like, sorry, I should not drink fizzy juice when I'm recording a podcast. But yeah, there's not that much for guys out there, and Eric is, I want to say raising awareness, but yeah, he's pointing it out, and like they're doing a cal for knit to guys accessories and stuff, so it's really interesting to read his perspective on it and kind of push for more men orientated items, more men orientated patterns as well. I also think a lot of wool, like indie dyers, may make their yarns aimed at women, like colours for women. Now, I'm not being sexist at all. I'm one of these people that if I had my kid, it would wear pink even if it was a boy, it would wear blue even if it was a girl. I'm not being sexist when it comes to colours, but I do feel that indie dyers do aim a lot of their colours at women more than they do guys. And as it is, like, I know one male knitter in real life. That's one. I know at least 30 female knitters in real life. That's not including anyone that I've met, like, from online, from doing this podcast. It's just people that I've physically met and talked to and stuff. There's about 30 knitters to one man. So it'd be interesting to like meet more guy knitters, and I'm hoping I'm going to see some at Edinburgh, or both Edinburgh events actually, but more on that later. So yeah, check out Eric at Sticks and Twine. And the other one I've been watching is Danielle and Ali on Caffeinated Knitting. And I love the accents. I'm not sure where they're from, but I do love the accents. And I just love the whole dual co-hosty type thing. Because like, if you do this podcasting thing, you realise just how odd it is. Sitting facing your camera, or in my case, I'm actually facing my neighbours. And I have spotted one or two kind of giving me really odd looks through the windows. And it can be really odd just sitting by yourself and talking to a camera, whereas with them they have this ongoing kind of chat between them both, and it's awesome. Like, well, obviously it's the same with Jenny and Devon, but if you watch Caffeinated Knitting, give them a shout, give them a shot if you haven't. They're really awesome. I've only watched like 2 episodes so far. I keep finding new ones and then want to watch like the older episodes and catching up. So I've got a few of each of these. I think the only one I'm actually caught up with on those 3 is Sticks and Twine, because he has shorter episodes, which I love shorter episodes, but I love longer episodes, so it's a toss up between the two. But those are the 3 that I'm going to mention this week. I've got 2 weeks now to find a whole bunch of new ones and give them a listen. Now on to some bits and bobs, really, just a whole bunch of random stuff. I will be attending Edinburgh Yarn Festival. I bought my ticket a couple of nights ago. It's on 18th of March. I got the day off work so that I can... Sorry, I keep seeing stuff happening in the street. So I got my tickets the 18th of March. It's in the Corn Exchange, which is going to be interesting for me to get to because I'm going to get the bus through to Edinburgh. So train up to Glasgow, bus through to Edinburgh. And then I think I need to get a taxi from... I want to say Haymarket, but that's not right. I need to get a taxi from where I get off the bus out to the Corn Exchange. And I could probably get a bus, but I don't even get the bus in Glasgow, never mind the bus in Edinburgh. So this is going to be really interesting. Sorry, my neighbour really is looking at me like I'm a weirdo. I didn't even realise my camera had turned off. I was so busy trying to have a stare down with my neighbour that I just totally missed that it hit the 20 segment, and I was still talking away. So as I was saying, I will be at Edinburgh Yarn Festival on the 18th of March. I'm going to be there for a couple of hours because it's going to be, I think it's about an hour on the bus and it's about 45 minutes on the train just for me to get up to Glasgow if I get a slow train. That doesn't mean like the train goes slower, it just goes to more stops. So we've got a fast train which takes half an hour because it only goes to about, I think it's about 7 stops, or there's the slow train which goes to all the stops all the way up, which is considerably more. I think it's about 12-13 stops to get to Glasgow. And then I need to walk up to the bus station and then the bus from Glasgow to Edinburgh, and it goes like past Edinburgh Airport, past the zoo. So it's going to take me about 2 hours of travelling each way. So I'm not going to be there all day, I'm just going to be there for a few hours. Don't know how much yarn I'm going to buy, I'm going to be completely honest. I've not got a clue how much yarn I'm going to treat myself to. But I'm going to keep some money aside from my February wage, because I don't get paid until after Edinburgh Yarn Festival. And the next event I'm actually going to be going to is the Knitting and Stitching Show, which is, I think, happening for the first time in Edinburgh, and that's the 28th of April. Now, I am really looking forward to this because I get paid on the 25th, but it's also my birthday on the 22nd of April, so it's going to be like a birthday thing for me. I'm really going to treat myself in April, so I probably won't treat myself as much in Edinburgh as I will in April. So my mum and I are going to go to the Knitting and Stitching Show, which I'm sure is the big one they do in London, but I'm sure this is the first time it's coming up to Scotland, so we're getting tickets for that. So that's the 18th of March and the 28th of April. There's another event I'm going to, but it's totally not wool related at all. It's the Alternative and Burlesque Fair in Glasgow, and that's happening on the 12th of March. And as soon as the girls and myself are going to go from work, because I'm really I'm very big on the whole pin-up style, the 1950s style, so like the winged eyeliner, the bright pink lips, which is coming up coral on this camera by the way, so this is actually bright red. The swing dresses, the swing music, I love all of that stuff. It's one of my favourite. I love the look, I feel really confident, like victory rolls and quiffs and stuff, you name it, I love it. And that's basically what this event's going to be, plus like alternative, plus like, why do I keep saying plus like, plus burlesque, and it's just going to be awesome. They're moving to a bigger venue this year, so it's going to be bigger, it's going to be more, it's just going to be more. So I'm going to 3 events this year so far, and I'm just trying to get out of my shell. I am such a recluse, it's unbelievable. I'm just trying to be more sociable, be more social, just get out of this little comfort rut that I'm in. It's not even a comfort zone, it's a comfort rut. I'm in a rut, and I'm just pushing myself. And I get a wee bit anxious about it all, but each one apart from Edinburgh Yarn Festival I'm going with people, which makes it a wee bit easier. So Edinburgh Yarn Festival I might be kind of on my toes a wee bit because it's going to take a little effort for me to go, right, get out your bed, get out your bed, get out your bed, go. Like, just stop being scared, basically. So this year's like the year I'm going to kind of push myself more, I'm going to be better, I'm going to do more, I'm just going to be more. It's really the only way to describe it. I'm just going to be more. So, yeah. 2 events in Edinburgh, 1 event in Glasgow. I think that's it for events. But I'm going to blather on just a wee bit longer. I started a group for Ravelry, and I'm not on Ravelry as much as I would like to be. I can be absent from Ravelry for a full week solid, so please, just because I'm not on the group and my presence isn't huge, don't think that you can't just randomly start a thread or start posting stuff. Please go ahead. The Ravelry group is just the Little Bee podcast. My Ravelry username is little-bee, and add me, send me a message, tag me in something, or what is it, like, I don't know, you tag, it's different how you tag people on Instagram as you do on like Facebook and let me start that sentence again. It's different tagging people in Ravelry than it is on Instagram and on Facebook. So join the group, come say hi, start a random thread. Like I've started one saying like what's your work in progress, let me see what's on your needles. At that point it was my 1 sock. I really should jump on and put in my starter like an FO thread. And then there's like an introduction thread as well. I'm probably going to start a thread for just random pictures because I'm a photographer at heart. That's how I started on my craft. So I'd done 3 years in college for photography, and I love like my landscapes and stuff, so I'll probably put like a few up saying like show me your town and stuff, like put some landscapes up. I was gonna go out with the camera today and do like a small film segment of like one of my favourite places to be here in Greenock, but the weather is just not looking great. It's really overcast, it looks like it's going to rain at any point, so I decided not to. Maybe another time. But people in Ravelry are being really nice, like a couple of people have sent me messages, like one woman on Instagram actually sent me a message saying she thought I was really brave because like I came forward about like the Crohn's and the hair loss and stuff. I don't see it really as being brave. I'm just facing it. I'm not putting up with it. I'm just accepting it. It's something I can't change. So I'm not going to fight it. But I thought that was really nice of her, sending me a message saying she thought I was really brave. A few people have like left comments and stuff. One woman left a comment saying, "When's your next podcast going to be up?" And I was just like, "Oh, someone wants my podcast." So that's really nice as well. So you can find me on Instagram as LittleBeekirsty. You can find me on Facebook as LittleBeeAccessories, all one word, capital letter for each word. So add me in all of these places, send me a comment, send me a message, come say hi. Let me know if you're going to be at either of the Edinburgh events, or even if you're going to be at the Glasgow event actually. It's a bit more different. It's obviously completely different from the whole wool thing, but still, let me know if you're going to be there. Just trying to think if there's anything else. I'm kind of looking around at everything I had on my desk to talk about. FOs, whips, stash acquisition, needle adjacent, life in my goddamn car. Really, like, hating my car right now. Too much work needing done. Podcasts, group on Ravelry, people on Instagram. I think that's it. So in 2 weeks, that's all I had. Slightly disappointed in myself. But oh well. I've got loads to do today. I have to tidy up the tip that is my bedroom, if you've not already seen it. My friends asked me up to go watch movies. So I need to get this edited and uploaded, and then I can feel a glass of wine being had tonight. I really can. It's just been a long week. I hope you've had a fantastic week. Let me know. We should start a thread actually of the Ravelry page. Just talk about our week. I hope it's been better than mine. I hope you've had no car issues. If you've had no car issues, to me you've had a successful week. So I'm going to sign off here. Find me on Ravelry or Instagram. Even come like my Facebook page if you want. Send me a wee message. It might take me a few days to reply if it's on Ravelry. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you like this episode. Sorry it's a bit all over the place. I'm trying to get back in the swing of it. Somehow I got in the swing of it when it was every week, and then I got out of it when it was 2 weeks later. So sorry about it being all kind of mishap and all over the place, but I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys in 2 weeks' time. Bye!